In this tutorial, I am going to show you how to create this really cool image over effects using Elementor. So as you can see, it works right here even in Elementor as well. So I'm just going to show you how you can do this. So the first thing to do is let me remove this the previous attempt. Then we're going to create it from scratch together. So if you're new to my channel, I create this. I also have this um, article on my blog that breaks down the effects and everything, and so you can also come here to copy the code snippets as well. But the most important thing for you to follow here is this architecture tree here, which shows the hierarchy and everything. So this is what we'll be using the most in this tutorial. So the first thing we want to do is we want to create our main container. So I'm just going to drag that in. I like to name my container to I like to name my structures so that I um, remember things so that I don't get confused. So I'm just going to name this main container, right? So the next thing for us to do is we want to bring in the parent container. But before, okay, I want to bring in the parent container. So I'm just going to name this parent container, right? Or let's just name it parent. So I'm just going to name this parent. So the next thing for us to do is to bring in our HTML widgets, which is going to house our CSS styles later. But so we don't forget, I'm just going to bring this in and name this styles. You understand? So the next thing for us to do is to bring in to start designing our cards. So to design our service cards, I'm just going to bring in, we're going to click on parent, then add another container. You understand? So when we do that, we're just going to name this row one. You understand? So we don't get ahead of ourselves. I'm going to come back to this architecture tree here and I'm going to look at it here. So for row one, we have an advanced CSS class that we're supposed to add. So I'm just going to copy this, come back here, go to advanced, then put it in the CSS classes field. You understand? So the next thing for us to do now is we now have the freedom to design our row, our card however we want. But something important that you should know, if even though you have the freedom to design the card however you want, the um what's it called, the image um widgets, the image container here requires a advanced CSS class. You understand? So you need to make sure you had the container widgets, you understand, for the image. So I'm just going to add mini widgets for each of the design. I'm going to name this um, number. We're going to breeze through this, right? So to get this structure here, I'm going to make a few modifications. So I'll come to the number here. I'm going to give this width of 10%. I'm going to give this width of 30%. I'm going to give this a width of 60%. So I'm going to come to the row one here, give it the row horizontal direction. The next thing for us to do is let's come back here. So we can see we are missing the image container, but don't worry about that. So we just add our number, title, and description. So I'm going to, so now we've done what is the add part, which is this structure. You understand? So then we come back into our structure here. So I'm just going to look through this. So under the title tag, we need to add this advanced CSS. So I'm just going to come back here. Where's the title? So this is the title. That's the heading widget for the title. I'm going to add this. I'm going to come back, then copy the one for the description. The number doesn't need it, so we're going to leave that alone. So I'm going to come to the description here, then copy and paste the CSS widget as well. So the next thing for us to do is this image um, container. So I'm just going to copy that down, then look through what I have done. So let's just style this a bit. I'm just going to come to border, make this solid, cancel all this, put the top, you understand? So then now we're back in the row one, right? So then we bring in our image widget. I'm just going to bring in another container. You understand? So I'm going to go to the advanced CSS, put in the code that we copied just now. So I'm going to um, copy um, the CSS for the image widget as well. So I'm going to go back, then put in the image widget. So once I do that, I'm going to come to the CSS class here. You understand? So now this is the difficult part. The other thing to do now is just copy and paste and design at your own creativity level. So this is where we use this HTML widget here for the styles. So I'm just going to look through it quickly. I'm not sure if we copied this CSS widget for row one. I'm just quickly going to check it. So yeah, we did. Okay. So the next thing for us to do now is we're just going to scroll down here and copy the CSS. You understand? So I'm going to click on this, paste in the CSS. As you can see, we can already see a bit of this shifting animation here. So the next thing for us to do now is let's just make this a bit, let's make it fun. Let's duplicate this in 3 sections. So I'm just going to duplicate that. So the next thing for us to do now is we copy the JavaScript code. So for the JavaScript, you want to click on the main container, then go back and search for your HTML widget and put in your HTML widget, then you drop in your code. You understand? You won't see the design here immediately until you refresh this page or you leave it for a while. You understand? So I'm just going to click publish and preview. Then we can see what it looks like. As you can see, the animation is there, but since we didn't had images for this, that's why we are seeing that image placeholder there. So let's just sort that really quickly. I'm going to do this off screen. So yeah, all the images are in. I'm just going to go one step further and I'm going to add um, a bit of padding to the top so we can see it better on the front end. I'm going to add, let's increase this to 80. You understand? So once we do that, let's publish it and click on preview. So we're just going to check the preview now. You can see the images are there and it has this little animation for each of the stuff. So if we're going to go further with this, we can add bottom padding as well to bottom border rather to this as well. So I'm just going to give this one to complete those border solid border design. So basically that's all about this design. As I said, every other thing depends on your design interpretation. You can design, you can add, you can choose to add instructions at the top of all these, or you can do that before you even get to this section here. But to design, but to create this effect here, this is basically how you do that. You understand? So if you enjoyed this tutorial and you're looking forward to more tutorials like this, please remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and also click on the notification bell. Thank you.